Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We're the Garcia Twins. I'm Britta.
And I'm Carly.
We would love it if you would subscribe down below and please hit the bell so you're notified when we upload.
Today we have a really fun video. I think one of you guys suggested it for us. So basically we're going to do like if our makeup collection went away tomorrow and we had to only keep one thing in each category, what we would keep. So really fun. Some of it was easy for us, some of it was hard, and yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so for our base product, this was actually pretty easy for me.
And we both picked the same one.
Yeah, the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint. I feel like I love this for its versatility. I can wear it on days when I'm wearing very minimal makeup and it just looks very dewy and fresh, but I can also wear it on days when I'm doing more of a full face and it looks like a foundation and like gives me the coverage that I need.
Like it looks so much like skin, so no matter what you put on top of it, it works well with.
Yeah.
I think it's because there's a lot of like silicone.
There's a lot of silicone,
so like things just generally work really well with it.
I need to repurchase. Mine's getting low and I'm also so worried they're like discontinuing this.
We're really paranoid. And honestly, like we talked about this, but we used this exclusively like 5 years ago as our base product, and then we didn't rediscover it until 2020, and now I'm like so regretful over not using it all those years in between, and I really hope they don't discontinue it because it's so good. It's my number one.
Okay, for concealer, I had to pick Tarte Shape Tape just because, again, kind of a versatility situation here.
Versatility? I need to hear this.
Okay, well, I guess if my whole makeup collection went away and I was only left with this, then I would be a little bit sad, but the coverage that this gives, like I always like to mix it in with other concealers if I'm just wanting a little bit more coverage that day, and it mixes well with every concealer I've tried it with because I literally just put the tiniest amount and mix it in just for a little bit added coverage. But I also like, this is really random, but I always put concealer on my nose because I have big pores there, so I like blend concealer over my nose, and this one lasts the best on my nose, especially like, you know, wearing masks, you can really tell what lasts there, and this one really lasts, so I almost think of it as like a foundation product in that way too. But I just feel like, yes, if I only use this, which I don't anymore under my eyes, so I guess maybe this was the wrong choice.
You're like, I love mixing this in, but then you'd only have that one concealer.
Yeah, I guess I haven't used this alone in quite some time, but I use it the most often because I mix it in with so many other concealers. But I guess if I'm going to go with a concealer that I use alone, it would be the Clinique Even Better. So I'll link that down below. I didn't bring it over here. So maybe this was a mess of a category for me. But the Tarte Shape Tape, if you want coverage, this will not disappoint. I still feel like this gives me the best coverage, and it does make my under eyes look dry if I wear it alone, like I said, but I guess if you do use a really tiny amount and really blend it out, it doesn't as much. Just be really careful, use it sparingly, but the coverage is amazing, and I also appreciate that one of these tubes lasts me forever. I'm in the shade 22N. And like the Clinique Even Better, I love that concealer. I think it's really beautiful and fresh and like smooths the under eyes. But for some reason, like I went through that first tube pretty quickly. So I think that while this is a little bit pricey, it lasts me forever because a little goes a long way. So maybe that's why I put it in this category. I don't know. I still think it's good. I know there's a lot of haters out there. Like I said, I don't use it alone anymore. But if I want coverage, if I'm just looking tired, this is going to make me look way more awake.
Okay, my concealer favorite was an easy choice. It's the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I love this concealer. I was thinking in my head, like the only concealers I've ever repurchased I can count on one hand, which is, I used to like the Tarte back when I was like 22, or maybe like 20,
well, no,
24.
It didn't exist then.
Yeah, like 24. That one I repurchased, the Makeup Revolution, that Conceal and Define. I went through a phase where I really loved that. The Glossier Stretch, and then this. Those are the only concealers I've ever loved enough to repurchase. And this one I've repurchased no more than any of them, and I love it so much. It really is, like they market it as like an eye cream concealer combination, and I love how dewy it looks under the eyes, but it does have like medium coverage, so it really covers for me everything I need to cover without looking cakey in the slightest. Like it really has like a dewy skin finish appearance. So this I've worn like on its own without foundation, just on top of SPF. I love how that looks. I love how it looks on top of foundation. Like it's so versatile. It's so beautiful. I've truly never been more impressed with a concealer. I love it so much. My only gripe is that I cannot seem to find a shade that works perfect for me. But they just did release more shades, so hopefully they release even more in the future because I think it's a really good SKU for them. I know a lot of people love this concealer, so really love this. Probably out of anything I'm going to talk about, this is like my greatest find.
Oh wow.
I mean, just because for years I didn't like so many concealers I tried, they'd make my under eyes look old. and crepey until this one, and I'm just like, I can't live without it. I love it so much.
Okay, next up is face powder. We both picked the Kosas Cloud Set powder, which is new to our collections.
Mine looks well loved.
Yeah, me too. But the reason I picked this, I guess I can't speak for you, but I feel like I did do a whole review video on this and talked about how I don't love it under the eyes. But then I thought, if I want a face powder, it's really to set my face. Like, if I can't set my under eyes, that's okay. So then I thought, what about like a face powder that I love? And this one is just the one that looks the most invisible on the skin. It doesn't look heavy. It does set your makeup in place. You can use it to touch up through the day. I think that's one of the things I love about it, is that other like loose powders, I feel like can sometimes, you know, you put a layer on and yeah, it sets your makeup in, but if you want to touch up, layering more powder, like of a heavier powder on the skin, just looks gross. Like throughout the day when you're already feeling a little like worn in. And so I feel like this, I love that it looks really invisible on the skin when you first set, but then when you go to touch up throughout the day, it still looks invisible. It never like cakes up, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's super, super versatile in that sense, and I just love the way it looks on the skin.
Me too. I picked it because I do love the Hourglass Loose powder.
Yeah.
But this is just so much easier to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love this. It definitely doesn't, like, if you're looking for something that mattifies, this isn't it. Like, I feel like this...
But it does blur.
Yeah, like, it lightly sets your makeup in blurs, and you do need to touch up. But I don't want, like, a super matte look, so I love this powder. The texture actually reminds me a lot of the Hourglass powders, like the Hourglass Ambient powders. I feel like it has that same, like, really blurring, thin, beautiful texture on the skin.
I feel like I'm going through it rather quickly.
Me too. Yeah. Where it looks really traceless, and I just love that about a powder. So even though this is new to both of us, like, it's really good.
Love the compact too. For bronzer, I cheated a little bit again, because if I'm going to pick a bronzer I can't live without, but then it turns out I have to live without it, it would be the bareMinerals Invisible Bronzer in the shade medium. This is still my all-time favorite bronzer, but they did discontinue it, so I'm just like savoring it, because when it's gone for me, which is really, really honestly depressing. I hope they bring this back and as like a surprise to everybody. But I wanted to mention the Nabla, what is this called? Skin Bronzing Powder in Soft Revenge, because it is the closest that I found to the Invisible Bronzer. The pan size is obviously much smaller. How much do you get? Let's see, 6.5 grams, and then the Invisible Bronzer is 7 grams. Oh, I guess so, it's pretty similar. But I actually love the slim compact of this. This is like that smoky gray we were talking about. I love the compact, but anyways, this is like a baked formula as well, so I find them to be very comparable. This one is slightly deeper perhaps than the medium shade of the Invisible Bronzer, but again, they're very, very similar. It's just a little more cool toned, I guess I would say, but really, really similar. You get the same effect using both. So I want to mention this because I do use this probably most often because I don't use the Invisible Bronzer on camera anymore. So if I'm wearing a bronzer and I like need a go-to bronzer, I love the way that this looks in the skin because it blends out so seamlessly because it is a baked formula, so you can build it up, you can sheer it out. It just looks like your skin. It never looks muddy. So I really, really love this one, and I think it's the most similar to the Invisible Bronzer, but this is still my tried and true.
Okay, and when I thought about it, like, my favorite powder bronzers are definitely the Hourglass bronzers. I love those, but in the past year, I really haven't worn powder bronzer that often, like, barely at all. So then I thought about all my cream products, which we're actually gonna do a ranking cream bronzers video coming soon. And I know this is like brand new to my collection, but I had to go with the NARS cream bronzer because ever since I got it, I've used it like nearly every day. I have it on right now, and I love the color. I love how easy it is to blend. It really lasts a long time on my skin.
Yeah, it lasts the longest out of all the creams.
Yeah, like my only complaint is that it has a scent. Like if they remove that, it would be my dream product.
And if the packaging was like glass, I would really like that.
Yeah, but it's easy to like travel with when we do that. So yeah, I love the color. I love how long it lasts. I love how it looks on the skin. Like, it looks so seamless, but it gives you color. I really love this product. So when I thought about my current collection, this was my number one. And like I said, I just don't really wear a lot of powder bronzers anymore. So it's a pretty easy choice, but really love this. I think it's worth the money, even though I was doubtful at first.
Okay, for blush, this one was it's semi-new to my collection, but Carly used to have it, so it's not a new product. But I was trying to think of a nude blush, because I had to go with a nude blush because it's something I could wear every day. And I really love the Persona Terracotta. However, I feel like that is, I don't want to say a summer blush, but it is like a little deep. It's a little bit like bronzy nude, where I wanted something that had like a little bit of like peachiness to it. So I went with the Wild Honey blush from Becca because I feel like this gives it does give like that blushed appearance, like just when you think of a nude blush, I think of this, something that brings a little bit of life to the skin but gives a little bit of like pinkiness, because that's how your cheeks would naturally flush. So I'm wearing it today. I just love this. I love the formula because it really does have like a slight sheen to it, so it's not a flat matte. It lasts all day. I love how small it is. I feel like you don't need a large blush, so I love that this is like nice and compact. I'm gonna be sad when, again, something else gets discontinued.
Well, it is. Remember, Becca's going away.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going away. So another thing that I love is leaving us, but that's okay. I feel like this will last me quite some time, and I should probably get a new one before
Talia has some dupes on her blog.
But it's not the same.
Yeah.
But I'll just buy another one before they leave us forever at the end of the year. But it's so good. A tried and true. My blush pick was pretty easy too. This is by far my most worn blush. It's Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, kind of in the same realm as Britta. In the pan it looks really pink, but it doesn't come across that way at all on the cheeks. I have it on right now. It just looks like, yeah, like a really light nude flush. It has like a bit more of like that peachiness when it goes on my skin, but also like more brown when it goes on my skin, which is the blushes I love. Like I like them to have some brown in them. And the Charlotte Tilbury blushes, if you're not familiar, the middle is like this shimmery section, and then the outside is still like a little bit glowy, but you just mix it all together and it really leaves your cheeks with like this beautiful like glowy flush. And this is always my go-to blush. When I travel, I bring it with me because it goes with any look. Like it can pair with any eye or lip look. It's just beautiful. And I remember when this first came out, it was limited edition, and I just, from the photos, I'm like, wait, I need that. And I never purchased anything from Charlotte Tilbury at that point, and I bought it, and then they made it permanent. But it is just so stunning. And I think it's honestly one of the only things in her line that I would spend the money on, because I think a lot of things just seem overpriced.
Definitely.
But this is like, and it's also lasted me forever.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful formula and color. Highlighter, we both picked the ILIA highlighting powder in the shade Decades, which is so crazy. We've had this for over a year, and it barely looks like I've used it.
I know.
And I use it almost every time I do my makeup. I feel like this was easy for me, at least. I do love cream highlighters, but my one gripe with them, well, some of them don't last very long on the skin, and then they're sometimes like your hair can stick to them, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't happen to you?
No, it does. I guess I just never like think about it.
Oh, I definitely think about that. So I wanted to go with a powder highlighter, and this one I wear way more than any other powder highlighter I own. I'm wearing it today.
Me too.
It's just really beautiful, very like natural looking, but still looks like a highlighter. Like it blends in with the skin, but you can tell you're wearing highlighter, but not in a very obvious metallic way. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so stunning.
I have so many cream highlighters I do really love, but then when I thought about it, I was like, oh, this one, like every time I reach for it, I don't regret it. I love how it looks, and the color looks really good.
The color is just really flattering. For eyeshadow, I just wanted to pick, like I just thought of what eyeshadow do I use more than anything else, and it's definitely the shade Toffee by Sydney Grace. It's just one of her singles. Let me swatch it on my hand for you. It's just like a mid-tone brown shade, but it definitely has like some peachiness, some yellow to it. So it sets it apart, I feel like, from a lot of the other mid-tone browns on the market. And the matte formula is my favorite. These are my favorite matte eyeshadows. Hopefully you can see it. And I wear this more than anything else. I feel like if I'm just doing a really natural makeup look at home, like working from home, I like to throw something in my crease. And sometimes I'll just use bronzer, like a powder bronzer. But most days if I'm working from home, I'm just wearing cream, so I never take out a bronzer. And this just always sits on in my bathroom. And it's so easy to just throw in the crease. It lasts all day. It's a very flattering tone, as I mentioned. I love these matte shadows. So it was kind of an easy choice because I'm like, well, this I definitely wear more than anything else. Mine was an easy choice too because I'm not really connected to a lot of eyeshadows. I have like a lot of one and done shadows I like. When I thought about this formula, I appreciate more than anything in my collection because I think it's the most unique out of any formula I've ever tried. Another luxury product that I think is worth the money just because it's so unique, and it's the Tom Ford. This is the Wet and Dry formula. It's the Honeymoon Palette.
And I only use these 2 shades. I've used this one and I like it, but it's pretty dark on my eyes, and I've never used this one, I'm gonna be honest, but I still think it's worth the money just for these 2 beauties here. I don't think they have individual names, but I have this one on my eyes right now. It's like this light gold with like a peach shift. It is truly stunning. I love it so much. It is just breathtaking. And then this brown is actually the reason I bought this palette. I saw people using this palette and this brown, and I was just like, wow, that is the most perfect like neutral brown that has like a lot of reflect in it. So it's just, they're both just so stunning on the eyes. Like, I get so many compliments every time I wear either one of these, and yeah, they're just really beautiful, and I appreciate this formula so much. Whoever made this, it's so stunning. I want some other palettes, but I'm trying to hold off because they are like, I don't know how much is this, like $88. It's a lot, but it's the only eyeshadow I feel like I'm like connected to, so that is why I picked it. Okay, for mascara, we have the same pick as well. You guys know our obsession with the Jones Road, the mascara. This is my new favorite mascara. I'm wearing it today.
Yeah.
It is just everything I want in mascara. It's black, it lifts the lashes, it holds a curl, it adds volume, it adds length, it adds separation.
It doesn't irritate eyes, it's a clean mascara.
It's everything I want.
Yeah.
It doesn't smudge. It's perfection, and I love the black packaging. I just like a good, like, simplistic mascara tube. And this is amazing. It's worth the money. I feel like for so long, oh, it's getting a little dark up. For so long, I feel like I was like, oh, there are good mascaras at the drugstore. Like L'Oreal Lash Paradise.
There are.
Always, yeah, and there are good ones. But this one, I feel like if you're looking for a more high-end mascara formula, you can't go wrong with this.
No, I wish they were sold like on Ulta or like something like that.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, it's pretty easy to order on the website.
Yeah.
So this is so good.
Brows was a little hard for me because I was just thinking, like, what is the most staple in my brow routine? And I love Carly's pick.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can change up like my brow gel, brow waxes type of thing. But the one thing that I have repurchased, this could be my most repurchased makeup item of all time, is the Covergirl brow pencil in the shade Honey Brown. What is this specifically called? Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. You can get it for like $6 on Amazon or Target. It's so affordable. That's another reason I wanted to pick it, was because it was probably the most affordable thing out of this whole roundup. And I think that you can't go wrong. If you need a good brow pencil that you can rely on, that'll just work for any day, any makeup look, it's this. I feel like it deposits the perfect amount of pigment. It's not too pigmented, and it looks very natural in the brows. It's easy to blend out. It stays all day. I love this. I think that not enough people talk about this. I think it's fantastic. It just holds up to all the high-end brow pencils I've tried. And like I said, I've used like different products to hold my brows in place, but this pencil has been a staple in my routine for years since it came out. So I had to mention it. It's so good. And ever since I got this product, I haven't even used a pencil, but I used to love the CoverGirl. So I had to pick this. It was an easy choice. It's the Patrick Ta Tinted Brow Wax. I love this stuff. It really holds your brows in place all day. But Literally, how do you have so much left when you only use that? I don't know. I just don't need a ton, I don't feel.
Oh.
Like, it holds your brows in place all day. It doesn't look crunchy or like crispy. It looks like your brows have like natural movement, but really they're like held, you know, up there. It's tinted, but it doesn't add like a lot of color.
No,
like, it's more of
yeah.
like a sheer tint. And I just love this product. I mean, actually, this might be my one thing over the Kosas concealer that has changed my life. They both have, honestly. Like, I love them both so much, but this is so good. Okay, for lips, this is actually pretty easy. I feel like I knew right away. The lip product that I wear the most, that I couldn't live without if my whole collection went away, would be MAC Strip Down Lip Liner. Obviously, I have like a teeny tiny amount left. Not teeny tiny, but you know, you can only really make it work for so much longer. I feel like I can wear this as a lipstick if I choose to, but if I'm wearing it under any product, I think that this is just the color that suits my skin tone really well. I like the formula. It doesn't budge, but it doesn't really feel that drying. I'm wearing it today under a ColourPop lipstick. I forget which one I'm wearing. Under, I don't know, I forget the name. But it wears well literally under anything you put it under. Like I said, it stays in place, and I love this. I love this product so much. And I almost picked Strip Down, but lip liner was definitely the easy choice.
Yeah.
I love lip liner on its own with like a lip balm, with Aquaphor, like anything. Lip liner is the way to go. And I compared how much I had used between this and Strip Down, and I had used this more, so I went with this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, how tall is your Strip Down?
It's pretty tall.
Oh.
I mean, this used to be a lot taller.
Yeah.
It's the Victoria Beckham Lip Definer in 02. I love this because it's actually like very similar formulas to the MAC. I mean, we know they're made by the same manufacturer, but really similar because they're both wooden pencils and they feel like creamy enough that you can put it all over your lips, but definitely not too creamy where it like moves, like you sit down all day. But I went with this one because this color is like my exact lip tone, just a few shades deeper. So every time I pair it with anything, it just always looks so natural. Like I can truly, I mean, it's called lip definer because you can like really, truly easily overline and it looks so natural and pretty. So that's why I went with this one, and I love the packaging. I don't think there's ever been a prettier wooden lip pencil. Like it's just so classy and pretty. And again, I have a lot of high priced items in my assortment, but everything that I talk about that's like more expensive, I think is worth it, including this, which sounds dumb because it's just a lip liner, but I use it more than any other lip product I probably own. Okay, brush was actually pretty easy for me. There are a lot of brushes that I love and use, but I went with the MAC 170 brush because I can use this for foundation, concealer, and cream products. Like currently, you can probably tell it's a little bit dark because I've been using it for cream bronzer with the NARS bronzer specifically. But I've also used this with the Neutrogena foundation. You can use it to blend out concealer. You could use it for blush. I think I love the size of the brush head because it's precise enough, like I said, you can blend out concealer easily, or cream products. Like it's not too big, where I feel like if it was slightly larger than this, I would only be able to use it for foundation, and I wouldn't be able to use it in like the crevices of my face. So I love the size of it. I love the density. It's dense and soft, which is perfect for any cream product. I like the handle size. I don't know, MAC brushes, they're good. This 170 is just my favorite. It's really, really good. Mine was an easy choice too. It's the IT Cosmetics. I don't even know. I think they have since changed the name maybe, but it's the Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection No. 7 brush. And this side is like for all over. This side is for concealer, but I've used this side for so many things. I've gone through a phase where it was the only brush I used to blend in foundation, blended in concealer. I use this now for like all my cream products, like cream bronzer, cream blush. I've used this side for concealer multiple times. I've used this for like cream bronzer on my nose. Like both of them are so versatile. You can use them for like basically anything. I've even seen people use this side for like powder foundation, and
that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like a synthetic brush, but it's so like, it's fluffy, it's not that dense. So I just love this brush. And it's also the one that I've had for so long that looks like pristine. Like nothing's falling out, and I've had it for 5 years, I think. So it's really well made, and I just love this brush. I think it's such a good investment because you can use it for so many things.
Okay, and that's it for this video. This was fun for us to go through our collections and pick out basically our favorites. Well, not even our favorites. I feel like just something that we knew we couldn't live without. So it's always good to look through your collection and pick out, you know, the things that stick with you through the years.
Definitely.
So please let us know like your ride or die, things you can't live without products down below, because we'd love to hear. You guys know our taste, so we'd love to try some of your favorites.